Today is September 13th. Welcome on into Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com, presented by Munganess St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey and Rammer, a potential historic week of baseball here in St. Louis. The Cardinals start off with 2 games against the Brewers and then a 5-game series against the Reds to cap off the week. And it's not so much a big week as far as the standings go for the Cardinals, but these 2 games could not be more important to the Brewers tonight.
Yeah, the Brewers are battling to stay in the wild card hunt, a couple of games back, but obviously we know that with 3 weeks left, they can do some damage and get it done. So they're going to be going tooth and nail. Craig Counsell will have them ready to go. There will be no concessions from the Brewers, and it should be a good battle. They continue to struggle with their offense and closing games. Yelich has tried to pick it up a little bit. I think Montgomery tonight, the left-hand pitcher, trying to neutralize Yelich and Tellez and Colton Wong, to name a few. You like what the Cardinals will send out against the Brewers tonight.
You know, and I didn't really realize this until I heard Matt Pauley mention it last night on KMOX on Sports Open Line, where this series could really, it could be a huge blow to the Brewers. If the Cardinals win both games, they win the season series, which means not only do they take that magic number down 4 spots for each time they win and the Brewers lose, add an extra one onto that because then the Cardinals win the season series. And remember, no more game 163s. They have a series of tiebreakers that will determine where teams are in the standings. And that first one is head-to-head matchups. And 2 wins gives the Cardinals the series, the season win for that. So it could be a big week.
Yeah, I think, again, I'm not concerned about the Brewers as far as catching the Cardinals. And I'm disappointed. I always liked the rare instance where you needed a 163, but with the expanded playoffs, it just wasn't doable. So I think they made the right decision. It was fun, though, when you played all those games and you were still tied and had to play one more. I just love the idea of that. But I like the idea of the playoffs and that 3-game first-round series. I think they've done it right.
Yeah, and we have a few weeks before we get there. Cardinals tonight, as you mentioned, have Jordan Montgomery going on the mound, 5-0 with an ERA under 1.5 since joining the Cardinals. And you just add that to the list of things that Mo has done right this season. Yesterday, we talked at length about the free agent signing of Albert Pujols, about Corey Dickerson and how good he has been this second half of the season. Throw Jordan Montgomery into the mix there, throw Jose Quintana into that. It has just been right move after right move. And on the Brewers side of things, kind of the opposite, where they didn't go and get the big bat they needed. They went into the season with a few holes, but still were the favorites. And then at the trade deadline, trade away their closer. So it's a very night and day story between the Cardinals and the Brewers.
Yeah, the Brewers thing with trading away Hader to the Padres, Hader had not been good for some time, had been bad. And they thought they had the answer to replace him in Williams, the St. Louis kid, but he has been suspect as a closer. I wonder, probably what they were afraid of, could be wrong, pure speculation, that demoting Hader would cause a problem. And rather than demote him, let's move him and elevate the new young gun into that closer role. Well, it all backfired. But I kind of understand the motivation behind it, I think.
Let me ask you this. As you're mentioning, the end of the game rolls. Right now, on September 13th, as we sit here and we talk today, how do you build that Cardinal bullpen for an October game? How are you managing that bullpen for an October playoff game if you're Oli Marmol?
I'm trying to figure out who my 2 left-handers are out of the pen. The one with the late pressure situation and one with the middle pressure situation. Because if I have Helsley, Gallegos, and then find 2 left-handers that I trust, then that's what I need to figure out going into October.
Yeah, I do wonder how much you can rely on Ryan Helsley in October when you're going back-to-back games there. That's my biggest concern right now with this team.
Well, the problem is there's no one else. That's the
Right.
problem. So unless he becomes completely ineffective, by the way, he's been giving up runs lately, but go back and look. I think it's a run in 4 straight appearances, something like that. But then go look, save, 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 save. Blown saves in that period, 0.
Right.
Losses in that period, 0. It's always been my position that there is one spot on your roster that doesn't need analysis, and that's closer. Either you get the save or you don't. And if you blow enough saves and take too many losses, you're out of that position.
Yeah.
Style points to me are not important. However, with Helsley, you do have to watch. You do have to observe. But it's still I believe until you start having failure, then I think it's okay.
The Cardinals will face Matt Bush tonight. Rammer, Albert Pujols 1 for 8 against Matt Bush in his career with 2 strikeouts. Do you put him in the lineup tonight, or do you play it straight?
Oh gosh, what would I do? Nobody has. There are very few numbers against Bush. Veteran guy. He's probably just an opener. You probably don't think of him going 5 or 6 innings. That's a guess. I think if it were me, I'd probably have Albert in there as a DH.
And just hope that something plays out later in the game, that it works out
Well,
for you?
no, I'm not afraid of Bush.
Right. I'm just talking about maybe for like a lefty matchup out of the bullpen when he does give you that 1 inning.
Well, I think for now, I'm ready to give him a look.
Yeah.
And hey, get in there, hit 6th maybe.
Yeah.
Corey's going to play, and Lars will probably still be in there. And then you got to decide, do you want Donovan or Gorman? I'd go with Donovan, and I'd probably give Gorman the night off. On the other hand, maybe they don't want Pujols to face a junk right-hander. I could see that too. I think that's got to be the decision. But Albert's been pretty hot. Why don't you ride it and see if you can extend it against a right-hander? It's only 1 game.
Rammer, earlier today, and this has been going on a couple times with the national media, accusations against Albert Pujols for how well he has been playing the second half of the season, and now Max Kellerman has weighed in on it. I don't know if you saw the quotes from him, but Max Kellerman earlier today on his show, talking about Albert Pujols and how well he's been doing, said, "Bartender, I'll have what he's having." And then went on to say he must be practicing more now, more than he did the last 10 years. Very tongue-in-cheek, very sarcastic comments from Max Kellerman.
Well, it was cowardly. If you think the guy's cheating, call him out.
Yeah.
You're the media. You're supposed to do that. But to sort of take the coward way and kind of sort of softly throw it out there to say, hey, here's what I think, but I'm not willing to really go on the record. That's weak.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we here in St. Louis have seen there's a history. If you do call Albert out for that, he'll come in and sue you, and he'll do whatever he needs to do to save his name and prove his innocence in that, because he has been clean for 22 years of his career now. Why accuse him of something in the last 2 months of it and possibly ruin it?
And again, if you're a journalist and you think you have a story, go for it. I respect journalists that do the investigation, get the facts, and get after it.
Yeah.
Taking weak pot shots, that's no good.
Yeah, and as I mentioned to Claves about 2 hours ago as well, it's not like baseball is picking and choosing and saying, he's too big of a star, we can't do that. They suspended Alex Rodriguez for a full year. We just saw Fernando Tatis Jr., one of the youngest and brightest stars in all of baseball, get popped for 80 games. It's not like they're he's too big of a star. When they have a history, if you cheat, you face the consequences.
On the other hand, I'm not willing to go for anybody to the point of haven't been caught, you're clean. Whoa, I'm not going there. No, thank you. I'm just saying, from the journalist side, you got the goods on somebody, go for it. I'll support you. But taking shots that's not good for anybody. Unless you're a comedian, unless you're really funny If you're funny, all bets are off. But just sitting at your desk taking shots to get noticed, I don't have much time for that.
I agree with you on that. We wrap up another episode here of Daily Cards Live, brought to you by Royal Banks of Missouri and Mungenast St. Louis Acura. Claves and I actually this afternoon were out at Mungenast Alton Toyota doing the lunch show from there. Plenty of cars, used cars out there on the lot. And along with Toyota starting to go electric, found out earlier today from J.B. Burkhart, the owner and GM out there at Mungenast Alton Toyota, that now Mungenast St. Louis Acura, that Acura cars are going to start going electric as well, starting in 2024. So now they have joined in on the electric car movement. So keep an eye out for that if you're an Acura guy at Mungenast St. Louis Acura. We will be back tomorrow with a record-breaking Daily Cards Live. Not for us, not for me and Rammer, for Yachty and Wainwright. Yeah, for the guys on the field. I don't have the stats in front of me on our shows, so I don't know what records we'd be breaking to begin with. We'll figure that out. We'll get a good stat guy on that here very soon. Hey, he's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. We will talk to you tomorrow right here on Claves Online.
From our roots in St. Louis, Royal Banks of Missouri is branching out to continue serving you with our locations in St. Charles, Jerseyville, Granite City, and now in Hannibal, Center, and New London. Royal Banks of Missouri, the community bank in your community.